It's Flying Friday, a flying-related movie every Friday, and today we have a colorful one. Rio is one of those cartoons that, on its surface, looks like a simple production, perhaps because they drew the humans in a somewhat plain way. Maybe the brain looks at the most familiar thing and projects that onto the entire presentation, but it's not a cheap simple throwaway kids movie. These worlds are detailed. It takes us on a 3D adventure through crowded city streets, high into the sky, across busy beaches, and, well, as might be expected with birds, soaring through the jungle. You rarely visit the same place twice. This is a surprisingly exciting movie. And it has some entertaining 3D pokeouts. It's very much a 3D aware movie, but I found they tended to occur in a very natural way, like when this hand glider casually crosses by the camera, showing off the tip of its wing. And also, we get a well-placed flyby of the Christ monument, giving the stereo a hand. Elsewhere, we'll occasionally see things tossed at the screen, but it is discreet and never feels like it's playing to the camera. I never felt like any of this was what I call 3D ham, which in a movie featuring singing and dancing birds, they could have easily gotten away with. Due to a plot point, we spend a lot of time on the ground with birds talking to each other, and they have these, well, animated, of course, but very expressive faces, and often push them right into the camera. It's a delight to see, and it's a source of constant fun throughout this movie. Also, the frequent low angles give us this looking up perspective that shows everything towering above the camera, which helps add to the excitement. 3D does like a good cage, and we get lots of wire cages, often in messy rooms that create a detailed, trashy look, and stereo loves a good trash pile. To that end, we take a visit to some of the more shanty areas of Rio, and due to all the ridges and imperfect structures, it makes for an entertaining background. There's a few moments of seeing 3D through transparent glasses and mirrors. It runs by quickly, so you'll have to look for the moments. This frosted glass window in particular was very interesting, very momentary, but seeing something behind the frosted glass shining a light through it made for just a very interesting few seconds of 3D. There's something about being able to pick up on the space of something that is obscured that makes my brain happy. Often feeling like an advertisement for the tourism board of Rio, we get dazzling shots of parades, and check out this moment with all the stilts making something like an artificial forest in the streets. There's nothing quite like seeing a big crowd in 3D, and really the latter portion of this movie takes place entirely in a crowded city. The film was better than I felt it should be. By appearances, I imagine I was getting into some dull kids' fare, but somehow it all works well with songs that do not feel intrusive to the narrative, and a charging, adventurous pace, though it does have a bit of a slow introduction. Somewhere out there exists an extended cut. Apparently, this was edited to move it from a PG rating to a G, and I would love to find out what the offending moments were. Story-wise, it has what I am finding is a recurring theme in bird movies. They challenge what you might call the clutches of contentment. Counting away your days in a cage, you are mistaking for a home. In a nutshell, this movie is a solid, swift boot from the womb. There was an aspect of this movie that reminded me of a story I was told about. I was somewhere on Vancouver Island and was passing through something of a retirement trailer park, and they happened to have a wild I'm pretty sure it was a peacock that spent its days living among the trailers. One fella told me someone with a local zoo got the idea to take a female peacock they had and drive her out to spend the day with the wild one. Just one day. And from that day forward, he told me, the once cheerful and curious bird seemed sad and despondent. You never know what you're missing out on until you do.